want to kick things off because we kicked off the preview with this game. We were very excited about Washington Spirit versus San Diego Way. This was the game that was going to be on network TV. It's CBS. We were like, hey, it's going to kick off week 6. And we had some fun with our pick. We were going back and forth. We're like, who's it going to be? We remembered the last time these two teams were on CBS, and it was last September, and it ended in a wild scoreline, 7 goals, 4-3 for the Spirit. When it came to the picks, we were split. I went with the Wave, you went with the Spirit, and they delivered for you, Lisa. 3-1, Washington Spirit.
This game had everything. It was a Saturday afternoon thriller. Washington was hosting at Audi Field. It was sunny. The fans were out. The stadium looked like it was packed. And I mean, the first half was a lot of Washington Spirit, controlling a lot of the possession, getting their game plan on the road. And this is what I'm talking about in week 6, where we're really starting to see all the pieces come together, because Washington's goal scored by Rodman, Sanchez, and Paige Mateo. Alex Morgan gets one back at the end of the game for San Diego. But ultimately, the first goal that comes about for Washington is a complete team goal. It was so beautiful the way it happened. It's a long ball, ultimately sent into Hatch, dropped back to Andy Sullivan. It goes through to Sanchez. Sanchez turns, and she lived in that half space throughout the entirety of the first half. Had so many opportunities, so many chances. She plays a slip ball through to Rodman, and that was 10 minutes into the second half. So it was scoreless at the half, 0-0, despite a lot of good chances, I think, from Washington Spirit. Caitlin Sheridan had some really good saves on shots, specifically from Ashley Sanchez and Trinity Rodman. But Sanchez was just living between the lines, taking up so much space, getting on the half turn, ripping shots with her left, her right, getting those opportunities, her confidence soaring. And finally, she's awarded by that by getting a goal, the second goal for Washington, on a Rodman assist. So the Rodman-Sanchez duo for the first 2 goals, electric. So much fun to watch those players. I mean, Rodman, holy cow, this player is going places. I mean, she's already been a lot of places. Yeah. She broke records this weekend, and she is just going to continue to soar. Her footwork in tight spaces has improved so much from her last 2 years in the NWSL. And because of that, her confidence has also improved greatly. So when she's in those tight spaces, she's not just looking to use her speed, her pace, her physicality to get past players. Instead, she's using her footwork and relying on her skill to get out of those tight situations with multiple defenders on her, which makes her that much more dangerous, because she can do tight little footwork, or she can just explode and get out of a sticky situation. And we saw both from her. It's really impressive to watch Rodman and her evolution throughout being a professional these last 3 years.
Yeah, we're recapping 6 weeks essentially of the regular season in NWSL, and we can start to see those early contenders maybe for individual standout performances. I've been saying it for a few weeks now that Trinity Rodman for me is an early candidate for MVP in this league. What she's bringing week in and week out, and you can just sort of see when she is in sicko mode, the awareness and presence of mind that she has. You could just sort of see in her eyes, her soccer IQ just kind of working in real time. Everywhere, doing almost everything at times for this team. And I loved that, it could get frustrating maybe sometimes if you're kind of in go mode and you're not getting that breakthrough. So the fact that it was 0-0 at halftime, and maybe you didn't have anything to show for it at that moment, to come back out and just continue to get at it and not get frustrated. I think that shows a level of growth, for Sanchez, for Rodman, as younger players in this league, to continue to sort of, build up and get back at it. Sanchez with a couple of opportunities in this game, and wasn't able to convert on them until about the 70th minute, where she got a great service from Rodman, and then that was sort of the go-ahead goal for this team. And just good effort, just kind of a relentless work rate for these two. And I think as individuals, they bring a lot of important assets to the Washington Spirit, but watching them kind of grow up together on this team.
That's a good way to put it. Grow up together.
Yeah, grow up together, like on this team, and continue to go ahead and develop this ongoing chemistry. It's really special to see, and I thought just another one of these kind of another one of these dartboard games, right? It's another dartboard game, and where you could just sort of point at it and say, here's a game where Trinity, like the case, and when we're making our MVP cases at the end of the season, it's like this is one of those games where we're going to point to and say, like, remember the CBS game for the Spirit and Rodman was just like ridiculous on the pitch. It was a fantastic match, and it just the Spirit, they just absolutely made the Wave just look a little clueless at times. They had no response, almost no ideas. I mean, if we were just looking at the numbers and boiling it down to that in this game, 15 total shots compared to 4 by San Diego, 10 on target for the Spirit compared to 3. They got a consolation goal from Alex Morgan very late into the game, but at this point it's done and dusted. But I think that's also very exciting too, as you're looking at the upper half of the table at this point. That's something that we talked about on our preview, the fact that we were going to go into this week and probably see some special soccer, because a lot of these teams, at least the ones in the upper half of the table, they have about a quarter of the season behind them already. So now they're going to continue to build and build and build and move moving forward. So when you get these matchups, like a Spirit and San Diego, a third place team at the time versus a fourth place team at the time, it was exciting to sort of see kind of what was going to be presented by both pitch. And it not only did the Spirit deliver and execute, kind of made San Diego look a little bit like a head scratcher.
Right. Like Alex Morgan was barely on the ball in this game. And Tara McKeown, who was a forward, a wing back for this Washington Spirit side, has been converted to a center back. And she did tremendous against Alex Morgan. She didn't let her touch the ball. You're exactly right. San Diego looked a little silly. They looked a little lost in the days almost of what was the Washington Spirit show, because these players were stepping up all over the pitch for Washington. I love the shout for Rodman as an MVP. You said it first here. I think it was like week 2 or week 3. You were like, hey, take a look at this player who everyone's been watching, because there is so much that Rodman does. But off the ball, I think her defensive work doesn't get recognized as much as it should, because she does so much defensive work. I would love to know her tracker jacker stat pack at the end of a game, how many miles this player is running during a game, because she is chasing the ball, putting intelligent pressure on the opposition to either win it back herself or force an errant pass for her team to win it back, or just apply enough pressure that forces the opposition's back line to play a ball that they probably didn't want to play. If they had another touch or two, it would have been a better connection. And that all starts from Rodman, and then it's a trickle-down effect throughout the entire team. It is tremendous to watch Trinity Rodman play. And she ends up getting a goal and an assist in this one, and she breaks a record, Sandra.
I love that. And that's the other thing too, is like we're watching something in real time with this, with this particular game, but we're speaking specifically of this one player in Rodman. And then when you have the conclusion of this game, final whistle goes, and you're going through it and you're going through the numbers, and you see that she's like making and smashing records as she's putting together these performances, right? So the youngest player in league history to reach 10 goals and 10 assists. And that was just sort of the bar. I think at this point she's actually got 13 goals.
Yeah.
At this point, it was just a matter of getting the assists.
Yes. Yeah. She's 20 years old. This player is 20. Yeah, massive for this type of player. She surpasses Sam Kerr in this role too.
Yeah, and that's not some nobody player. I mean, that's Sam Kerr. We're talking about Sam Kerr, a player who also was in the league at one point at a very young age in NWSL, and essentially established all these records. And now we're getting to a point where the league is in its 11th year, and it's got these young players, and records are made to be broken, right? And so here's one from Rodman. And I would anticipate that she's got a few more of those in her. She might break some more records along the way of her career here in NWSL. But lovely game that we got treated to early on Saturday to kind of kick everything off in week 6. And of course, that meant all these other matches had to try to deliver in some capacity. Let's talk a little bit about North Carolina Courage and Portland Thorns, because this was also a real treat. We had a 3-3 draw between these two teams, and I believe we went Portland in this one. And you know what? Love to be incorrect, because again, we got treated to a 3-3 draw. We got 6 goals in this one. Not so much like a winner and a loser to talk about here. So we're gonna obviously take the time to chat about both teams and their performances here. Maybe we start with the home side in this one, in the Courage. Maybe one of those teams where we're looking at as they enter this kind of second quarter, this second phase of the season. Young team, new faces, new names. Kind of feels like they're starting to put some things together, though.
I agree. I think that North Carolina has really come together. The first couple of games, you can even go back. We said it on here on the show that North Carolina just didn't look like they had enough chemistry. They didn't have enough of the big time players. They lost Diana Ordonez in the offseason, and that was a big loss. How are they going to score their goals, right? That was a big question, besides just really good skill from someone like a Caroline or a Guile who gets one past the opposition. How are they going to consistently find the back of the net and what was going to work for them? And I think the pressure from this North Carolina side is one that's always going to work in their favor, because they start the scoring in this game against Portland Thorns in the opening minute. And they force an own goal. Ryan Williams back on the flank for North Carolina. It's back where she belongs. She thrives in those wide areas of the pitch. And she makes this dashing run down the field, and she sends a cross in that forces Emily Menges, defender for Portland, to stick her leg out. The way the sun was positioned, it was like a little bit of a perfect storm for North Carolina. The way the sun was positioned, the deflection off Menges, the opening minute of this game, and Bella Bixby just can't save this as it goes in towards the near post. And before you know it, it's 1-0 North Carolina Courage, and the clock is about to hit 1.5 minutes. So that was like a heck of a start for North Carolina. And I knew from that opening, 2 minutes, I was like, this game is going to be wild. I don't think I could have predicted 3-3 in the opening minute, but I knew that it was just going to be wild. I know we're talking about North Carolina a little bit, but Crystal Dunn, holy cow, 2 goals on the game, 2 goals on the day for Portland Thorns. And just really, really, the composure from Dunn, her ability to be all over the pitch, her ability in really tight spaces, and maybe not the perfect pass is given to her, but she's still able to collect, create, and get something from it, because she gets the second goal. So now it's 1-1 in the 22nd minute, after Crystal Dunn gets a goal on a Sophia Smith assist, and we've seen that goal before. Smith takes it end line, crosses it back to the top of the 6, and there's Dunn. I think they did that in week 5 as well. So a little bit of a carbon copy. They're practicing that, maybe? I don't know.
Who knows? I mean, look, 3 goals in the first half of this game. And I think you could go back on my Twitter, and I saw that and I said, this is going to be another 3-3 draw. Yeah. And sure enough, both these teams come out into the second half and deliver once more. And it's Crystal Dunn, who you're alluding to kind of get that second half going for Portland Thorns. Look, it's early, right? But this is when we get to have this kind of fun, when we make these sort of early predictions on not just matches, but performances in general. And I think if we're trying to have fun and chat about players who can compete for some of these individual awards at the end of the season, if we're talking about Trinity Rodman and MVP, I think you include a couple Portland Thorn players in that equation as well, whether it's been Sophia Smith or at this point Crystal Dunn, and doing it all in a position that we love to see her in as a midfielder, delivering for Portland Thorns in this. I think, look, you look at the big scoreline like that and you maybe think, hey, what's going on with Portland defense. We were just talking about Bella Bixby, celebrating a historic milestone and most, quickest to the most clean sheets. And now they're conceding some heavy goals and some heavy score lines like this. This is another 3-3 draw that this team found themselves in the middle of. they might say, let's check out some of the X's and O's in terms of this back line. Maybe one of those big things is the fact that they don't have Becky Sauerbrunn available at this moment,
Right.
kind of navigating some injury, but it's providing some exciting, chaotic games. I think if you're the neutral fan, and some really kind of cool moments. I think we're talking about Crystal Dunn, but I mean, Victoria Pickett just traded to this North Carolina Courage side. I mean, maybe that's going to be an underrated kind of mid-season move, depending on how things pan out here for the Courage. But it's looking like it's a great pickup already. Love this goal by Pickett, but I also love the movement and the assist from Olivia Wingate, one of their first round draft picks. You love to see it. We'll absolutely have to have a check-in with the rookie class as well as a few more weeks go by, because some of these players in their first year are absolutely stepping up in areas where their teams needed to be. And it looks like Wingate is a bit of a problem for oppositions right now.
Yeah, and Victoria Pickett getting this getting minutes in this game after being traded from Gotham, and that was a bit of a question mark as to why that was happening. But you and I both agreed this is massive pickup for North Carolina, and Pickett delivering in this first game that she plays with them, getting a goal, getting what would be at that time, I think it was 3-2 then for Pickett, before Olivia Moultrie comes back, and that's the thing about this game. It was really, really good soccer. The goals were incredible. I'm going to say maybe besides the first one, just because it was a bit of a fluke and an own goal. But other than that, really fantastic goals. The second goal from Dunn is a really good team goal. Klingenberg does so much work, and she continues her run. It's like a little ping pong ball passing around. The Pickett goal, as you just mentioned, on the assist from Olivia Wingate for North Carolina, and then Olivia Moultrie, the young player, getting just a worldie of a goal. Multiple defenders surrounding her. She still gets the shot off, left foot. It was dipping into the goal. Really, really good stuff. But the football in this game, the possession battle, Sandra, we drop stats on here occasionally, but North Carolina and Portland Thorns are the top two teams with the most possession in the NWSL. At the end of this 90-minute game, 3-3 scoreline, so lots of goals, quick movement. The passing, were 6 passes off from each other. North Carolina had 433 passes. Portland, 427 passes. If you have time this week to go back and rewatch this game, I highly encourage it. Paramount Plus, go check it out, because this was such a good game. It was such a good game.
They're on demand. Go ahead, check them out. Or you can catch highlights if you don't have a full 90 minutes on you, and you can catch them on Attacking Third, just so you know. But that's just 2 games that we've recapped for this first segment.